Hi everyone, welcome to North and South Pods. Hope you're all well. What were you put on earth to do? Is our question for today's pod, and I'm just doing this a little bit off the cuff. I'm doing another podcast tonight, one later in the week, recording them with people. And I was reminded recently of a podcast I did with Mark McDermott, who is an NLP practitioner, NLP being neuro-linguistic programming. And what that gets you to do is to think about the way you think, the words you use, the way you describe situations. So a good example might be if you knock something over, if your first reaction is to start swearing and cursing. That's one way you can deal with that situation. Another way is to just go, knock that over, be more careful next time, and just move on from it. And sometimes it's as simple as that. Another thing might be responding to like a microaggression, not only by other people, but to yourself, the way you speak to yourself. And I did a podcast a while back called 2 Arrows of Buddhism. And what that said is that sometimes something will happen to you, and that's the first arrow. But the second arrow is your reaction. So do you make things worse with your reactions to things? And I remember watching a study on TV years ago, and he gave people an electric shock. And he said to someone, this is going to be quite a low electric shock. And he gave them an electric shock, and they were like, going, yeah, that didn't bother me. Then he gave them the same electric shock, but said, this one might be painful. And people were going, ow, stop it. I don't want to feel that anymore. But it was the same shock. Our mind interprets the world. If you think about it, everything you experience comes through your consciousness, your 5 senses, and the way you interpret it. A lot of that's based on genetics, 50%. You reckon 40% is to do with the way you interpret the world, and then 10% is to do with the situations that you find yourself in. So what they're saying is like 40% of all your reactions is based on how you react to something. And we need to constantly be aware of this, particularly as we get older and we become more experienced in life. We should use that to become wiser, not more cynical. And it's very important that you're in control of your mind and you don't let your mind or parts of your mind make your day-to-day life much, much worse. But I've been doing a lot of work on myself, and I use the Karma, and it asks you how you're feeling each day. And like, I've had a few weeks of like smiley faces. And I'm thinking, I'm sure I wasn't like that a while ago. I'm doing something right. I'm doing little things right, which means a better emerging thing after time. And it's very hard sometimes to see why you do feel better or you do feel bad, but be constantly watching the mind. And one of the things I've been doing recently, and again, it's quite a privilege and a luxury to have the time to do this, is at the end of each day, I started doing it when I was in France a few weeks ago. And I didn't want to be doing my journal while I was away because, like, I wanted to be away from my routine. So each night when I went to bed, I thought about what I did that day and what was good and what was okay or fine. But then I thought about the things that weren't okay and weren't fine. I thought, how could I view those differently? And then from that, you kind of learn how you can approach them better in the future. Do you know what I mean? And another thing is in relation to the Mark McDermott podcast I did a while back. Great speaker, by the way. I've heard him speak twice. Neuro-linguistic program. Check out his website if you're interested. Is Mark said he was speaking to some guy who kept going into prison, and he was coming for him to help him and that. And he said, "Why are you here?" And he was like saying, "Oh, talking about why he was coming to the sessions." And then Mark said to him one day, "No, why are you here?" And the fella said, "I want to take my grandchildren to the beach." As if like that was the breakthrough where he said, "That's what I want to do with my life." And he stopped going to prison so he could do that. And he needed that breakthrough moment because that was what gave his life true meaning. And you might not have a breakthrough moment as clear as that, but I had one of those recently, and someone was saying, I was saying to myself, what do you want to do with your life? Why are you here? And now and again, I just sit down and I write down what I want, and I review it regularly. And sometimes I go, oh, it's not quite right. And then I need to explore it, or I just have a think about it, or just let things come to me, little breakthroughs or thoughts or whatever. And you need to do that regularly, because you can often get lost in life and get into negative frames of mind and let negative sub-personalities within your mind control you. And I've spoken a lot about the work of Paul Coe and his work on sub-personalities. I can't recommend checking out his stuff. More importantly, it's one of the most important things I've done, certainly in terms of my day-to-day practice of seeking to get better and improve and become wiser each day. You also need to acknowledge things that are beyond your control, and also you need to be okay with the fact that you're not perfect and you will make mistakes and you can learn from them. And one thing I heard someone speaking about me recently, and I must admit I let it bother me, but there's a famous saying that, like, you shouldn't let what other people think about you is none of your business. You can ask for feedback and say, I want constructive feedback, but what other people think of you, it's none of your business, really, is it? So just a little short one every now and again, sit down and think, what do I want? On a day by day basis, think about what went well today, what could I do differently next time? Just break it down. Make life simple and easy, as the Stoics say. One thing you might consider doing is making the mornings as easily as possible, as easy as possible. And I know the Stoics said, get ready the night before to make the morning as smooth and easy as you can, going back thousands of years. And that's certainly something that's helped me. Make the morning as stress-free as possible, because if you start off with a stressful morning, things aren't likely to get that much better. So bear that in mind. Couple of housekeeping issues. Please follow me on YouTube and Spotify, like and subscribe, share with at least 3 others. If you can, donate the price of a cup of coffee once a month to the podcast, or you can go through the charity website, which will now be in the notes regularly. And the charity website, I say charity, it's a community interest company at the moment. The stuff on there, projects I've done with vulnerable people. There's also a blog there now with photographs and some written articles and poetry. And if you want to contribute for photographs or written articles or poetry about a community, whatever, please get in touch and I can share stuff. And thanks to Nadine, who sent some stuff in, a couple of pictures which I've shared on the photography blog. So you can contribute directly to the charity as well through a button on the charity website. Also, I've been doing some good work with other people, Louis, Paul, a few others. Louis actually recorded a podcast, which we'll get to you soon, and the team's expanding. And if you want to get involved in any way, feel free to get in touch. Also, if ever you've got any questions or whatever, fire them our way and we'll see if we can answer them, or with some suggestions or whatever. But anyway, have a great day. It's beautiful out there today, the 29th of July, 2024. It's mid-afternoon, and enjoy your life. You know, the one thing we do know is that we're kind of here now, and that's all we really know. So try and do good things and enjoy your life. Don't step on anyone else's toes. But I hope you're okay and have a great day. And all the support you give North and South is very much appreciated, particularly those who donated. You know who you are, and I've spoken to you privately. I really do appreciate your contributions, and the more the merrier. Let's expand this community and let's make positive change at the heart of the community. Cheers, folks. Have a great day.